even with over half of Hamas's fighting force either eliminated or wounded, Hamas was still able to fire a barrage of rockets towards Israel the other day. My question is, how on earth are they still firing rockets at Israel, and why is the world still, at this point, calling for a ceasefire? Guys, stay tuned to the end of the show to see an epic video of Israeli undercover operatives taking out terrorists in Jenin. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. Hello and welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show, guys. It's been a couple weeks since I've been on the show here. First off, you know what to do. Make sure to subscribe, follow us wherever you're watching or listening. Also, like this video. Give us a thumbs up. Really helps us out. Also, hit the notification bell so you never miss any of the episodes of the Israel Guys that we're putting out 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, right here on the Israel Guys channel. Also, go check out our other social media platforms. We're on all the major platforms, Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook. Go give us a follow there. Or you can give me a follow, Justin Hilton, there on X. I'm also there. So, there was a terror attack yesterday, on Monday. An Arab Israeli, this is not a Palestinian, it was not, the attack was not committed by a Palestinian. An Arab Israeli man from Tamra. Tamra is a town in the lower Galilee. He rammed his car into a 20-year-old Israeli man near a naval base in Haifa. He rammed into the guy, got out of his car, grabbed an axe, and tried to murder the Israeli man. Yeah. Magen David Adom emergency medical personnel treated the victim for injuries to his lower body before evacuating him to Rambam Medical Center in the city. The hospital's Deputy Director General Dr. Avi Wiseman, he said the victim was sedated and intubated to the trauma center and would undergo a series of surgeries. Please pray for the full recovery of the victim, this 20-year-old Israeli man who was tragically injured in this brutal, awful, horrific attack by not a Palestinian, but an Arab Israeli. Soldiers who were stationed at the naval base there, they were able to shoot and neutralize the terrorist. Thank God. The Israel police said in a statement that the terrorist had a criminal record before. He previously had a criminal record for illegally transporting people, presumably Palestinians, illegally transporting Palestinians into Israel. Thank God the IDF is on their toes. They've been working very hard. Earlier on Monday, before the terror attack, they were able to foil a Palestinian stabbing attack, which took place between Efrat and Tekoa and Gush Etzion, there down in Judea. Guys, I have some crazy stats. This is mind-blowing. I got these from JNS. But since Hamas's massacre, since the massacre on October 7th of some 1,200 people living near the Gaza border, Israeli security forces have arrested more than 2,650 wanted Palestinian terror suspects. No, not down in Gaza, but in Judea and Samaria, of whom around 1,300 were associated with Hamas. So no, it's Hamas does not just have control of the Gaza Strip. They have ties everywhere, and they're very popular actually here in the West Bank and throughout all of Judea and Samaria. They are quite popular. Guys, I want to get into what is happening in Gaza right now. Ben reported on his show on Friday. Great show. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. But he reported that the IDF has now, as of this point, they've taken out half of Hamas's total fighting force. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, during a visit to the southern border on Monday, he had this to say. He said, "We have already killed a quarter of the Hamas terrorists at least, and the same number are wounded. Terrorists remain, and we are fighting against pockets of resistance. It will take months, not one day. However, the remaining half of Hamas's terror army has limited supplies, ammunition, and reinforcements," he claimed, noting that it is becoming harder and harder for them to take care of themselves and their wounded. He then went on to say something interesting. He said, "We have 3 goals for this war: to eliminate Hamas, to return our hostages, and to preserve the unity of the Israeli people. We're in a long war, but in the end, we will break Hamas." What is interesting here, this is something that JNS pointed out, is that the third goal that he meant, Yoav Gallant mentioned 3 goals. The third goal that he mentioned is somewhat different from what has been previously said by government officials and also by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who have all consistently said they've defined the third goal in this war as ensuring that the Gaza Strip in its entirety will never pose a threat to Israel again, versus preserving the unity of the Israeli people. It was really interesting. I'm not sure if the goal of the Israeli government at this point is changing, or if, it was just Yoav Gallant speaking. I guess we'll find out in the coming days. Israel's Ynet website on Monday, they cited a senior security official who said the IDF managed to destroy 2 of the 4 Hamas battalions operating in the Khan Yunis area. Troops have already approximately killed 3,000 out of 4,000 Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorists during battles above and below ground in Khan Yunis, the report said. IDF 98th Division Commander Brigadier General Dan Goldfuss, he said this, quote, "We're fighting in a simultaneous maneuver, combat above and below ground at the same time. Hamas terrorists are on the run, and we are hitting them and their above and below ground infrastructure." So, as Ben talked about the other day, despite the reports that are coming out, Hamas is still holding on. That the IDF is actually doing a very good job. They're making a lot of progress. They are deep in the heart of Gaza. They have Khan Yunis surrounded, and it's only a matter of time before Hamas is 100% eradicated from the earth, before this scum of this terrorist organization, till every last Hamas fighter is eliminated from the earth. Already, they've eliminated hundreds of terrorists above and below ground. They're doing a fantastic job. Guys, in a second, we're going to get into how Hamas just fired more rockets at Tel Aviv. But first, the world we live in is noisier than ever, and the loudest voices, it seems, are the people who are shouting falsehoods. The question is, where's one to turn to hear the truth? Well, let me introduce you to Verses for Zion by Rabbi Pesach Wolicki. With translations of biblical verses from Hebrew into English, readers will learn invaluable Bible teachings about the land, people, and God of Israel. From ancient prophecies to modern-day challenges, this book serves as a beacon of hope and resilience. It lets you delve into the stories that have shaped a nation and inspired millions. This is a book our generation desperately needs. Here's why. Verses for Zion will inspire readers to summon the strength to fight against those lacking morality and to stand proudly by Israel. It will also take you on a journey through history, faith, and the undying spirit of Israel. Get your own copy of Verses for Zion today by clicking on the link in the description below. So in the first time since January 1st, Hamas fired rockets at Tel Aviv. Monday afternoon, at least 10 rockets were fired towards the greater Tel Aviv area, sending millions of civilians racing for shelter. You might not think, oh, it's not a big deal, just 10 rockets, fired by Hamas towards Tel Aviv. But this is a big deal. Tel Aviv is very densely populated, and so anytime there's a siren or anything, this sends millions of civilians rushing for shelter, rushing for their lives to the nearest shelter. Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades, the military wing of Hamas, they confirmed they fired a volley of rockets at the city, quote, in response to the Zionist massacre of civilians. Yeah, stupid. The barrage was reportedly fired from the area of Khan Yunis. There were no casualties, thank God, although a vehicle was hit by shrapnel in Rishon LeZion, as you can see in the video. A vehicle was hit, but thank God there were no casualties. Also, before on Sunday, the day before, terrorists in northern Gaza launched a volley of rockets toward Ashkelon. Not 100% sure if that was Hamas or if it was another terror organization. But the question I have is, in all this is, how on earth is Hamas still firing rockets months after the October 7th massacre? I'm not sure how they can still be operating. Like, and why is the world still calling for a ceasefire, still not demanding that Hamas 100% surrender, give up all the hostages? They're still calling for a ceasefire. No, yes, we need a ceasefire. We need Hamas to cease firing forever. If Hamas ceases firing, the war is over. If the IDF cease firing, there would be an end to the Jewish state. And maybe that's what the world wants, honestly. It's very, very mind-blowing and insane what our world is coming to. Guys, I have an epic video for you. Israel's special forces, they're just plain awesome. But watch this video to see what I mean. I mean, just look at this. These look like normal Arab people just walking around the hospital. This is inside of Jenin, a terror hotbed just north of the city of Nablus, just north of where we are here on Har Bracha. This is inside a hospital in Jenin, and these just look like normal Arab people walking around inside of the hospital. Then all of a sudden, guns pull out. They pull out guns from under their clothes. The one looks like a lady in a burqa. One guy's in a wheelchair. And they suddenly hop out, take out these terrorists, either arrest or eliminate these terrorists, eliminate the terrorists if they fire back, or just arrest them if they come peacefully. Guys, that is the top-notch Israeli special forces for you right there. Guys, you know, I like to end the show on a positive note. So I want to show you that there is still some hope for the world, especially for our younger generation. Watch this 12-year-old kid school an adult pro-Palestinian protester. Watch this epic video.
In the dictionary, Zionism is the belief that Jews should have a homeland. That's what it says.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But Palestine wasn't empty. Palestine had people in it. And you can't just take over a land where people are living and say, now we plant a flag and now it's ours. You can't do that.
But the United Nations gave the land to Israel in 48.
And the Balfour Declaration was wrong. And I disagree that it's fair in any way, shape or form. And also it's an ethno state. Israel is trying to create a state where there are only Jewish people. Where else in the world do you have that?
But there are 2 million Israeli Arabs that have the same rights as Israeli Jews living in Israel.
They have the same rights?
Yeah. 2 million is 20% of the population are Arab Muslim.
Right, okay.
So, this pro-Palestinian protester, more like a pro-Hamas protester if you ask me, is so completely ignorant. Like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. All it takes is for a little tiny bit of common sense to completely debunk and to completely destroy these people's narratives and their arguments, because honestly, their arguments make no sense and they don't have good answers when you just ask them common sense questions. It's so simple that even a 12-year-old was able to absolutely humiliate this lady and completely destroy her arguments. Guys, continue to pray for Israel. Pray for the victim of the terror attack that happened in Haifa the other day. Don't forget to check out Rabbi Pesach Wolicki's Verses for Zion book. You can get your copy. Click on the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe get the conversation going down below. Let us know if you have any questions. We love to engage with you down in the comments. I'll try to jump on there and answer whenever I can. And as always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.